Yo, what is up, guys? People ruin wrestling here, back again with another video. So today I'm going to be doing a video on why Ronda Rousey is great. Now I know she hasn't been in WWE for a while now, but we're just going to break down why she's great and she deserves to be in WWE. Plain and simple. Alright, number one, and I know I bring this up a lot with a lot of like MMA athletes and all that, but she had a legit undefeated streak in MMA. So she straight up, excuse me, not MMA, UFC. So she had a undefeated streak in UFC. She lost to Holly Holm pretty badly, but she was a legit badass. She had that streak, and going into professional wrestling, most UFC people and MMA people, they can transfer over to the WWE pretty well, and she did that. She was able to cross over between UFC and MMA. Well, from UFC and MMA to the WWE, and she did a really good job with it. And fuck, I even knew some smarks who were excited to see her. So she has that appeal. Number two, she brought interest back into the women's division. So you got to be real here. The women's division hasn't really been much since, and I know I bring this up a lot, the Ruthless Aggression era. That's when the women's division was somewhat still relevant. But now, nobody cares about the women's division because you have boring-ass chicks like Bayley, Becky Lynch. You got people like Io Shirai running your shit on NXT. Nobody cares about this shit. I know I don't. I'm going to be doing a video on the NXT women's roster soon, but I had to get this one out first. And if you're wondering if there's like background noise, I'm recording outside because it's kind of hot in my house, so whatever. But you have a bunch of these women that nobody wants to watch, at least nobody except like smarks and people who value technical work rate. For like anti-smarks and people who like charisma and characters, then you want to watch Ronda Rousey because she was good. She was good, and she brought interest back in. I know a lot of people say this about Charlotte and Becky. Oh, they brought the women's division back, and look, they main evented WrestleMania. That means they're good. Okay, just because you main event a WrestleMania doesn't mean you're good. If Charlie Haas and Dean Malenko main evented a WrestleMania, does that make them good? Even though they had no character and they couldn't carry the company because they were quote-unquote vanilla midgets, which I agree with. Stop using the excuse that just because someone main events WrestleMania or is at least on the main event, or if they're on the WrestleMania card, that doesn't mean anything because the person that's booking them could be a really big fan of them and book them on there. Like Ricochet and Aleister Black were on WrestleMania. Does that make them top in the company? No, it doesn't. But Ronda Rousey deserved to be there, and she was the shining force. I think, honestly, she should have went over at WrestleMania. It would have made a lot of sense. It made no sense for Becky to win. I mean, it kind of did because she had momentum, and she was actually kind of over with the fans until they pretty much killed her momentum after that. But I would say you could have had Becky win, but also you could have had Ronda Rousey win, and I think a lot of people would have been okay with that. And I would have thought it would have been a better decision because Ronda she has more of a character and she has more charisma than Becky, so she'd be able to carry that belt and make it look legit. That's another thing I can bring up here. Number three, she makes any women's title that she holds in WWE in the near future, she'll make it look legit. Why do I say this? Because it's like the Brock Lesnar algorithm here. A former UFC champion holding your fake wrestling belt. It makes it look prestigious. It makes it look nice. It doesn't, like, if you have someone like Finn Balor hold your title, it doesn't make it look good. It's like, oh, I could beat Finn Balor for the title. That's what people would think about it. Okay, there aren't too many men that could probably beat up Ronda Rousey in a legit one-on-one fight. I mean, if you're stronger than her, maybe, but the way that she fights, and because she's experienced, I don't see many guys beating her. Even women, for that matter. If you took any of the people in WWE right now and put her up against Ronda Rousey in a real fight, I think the only ones that could, like, maybe compete is, like, Maria Shafar and Jessamine Duke. That's it. And maybe Shayna Baszler. And they'd probably all lose, to be honest with you. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is she makes any of the titles that she holds, she makes them look legit. Like if she was the double champion, I would be completely fine with that. So let's move on. Number 4, she made Becky Lynch look bigger than what she was. So what do I mean by this? People ruin wrestling. What are you talking about? Becky Lynch was over. She had a bunch of momentum on her side. She's good in the ring. She has great charisma. She has an amazing character. Her gimmick was a fucking fire. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you guys are watching. Honestly, I don't know what you guys were watching. I'm a fucking dumbass with this fucking car. You gotta be kidding me, man. I want to record videos and there's always cars behind me. Fuck that. While I agree that Becky is somewhat okay in the ring, she has no promo skills. She has no charisma. She has no physical charisma. She doesn't have natural talent. At least with Ronda, I could say, oh shit, she's a legit UFC talent. She had a legit streak. She knows how to fight. So I could believe her as a badass. Jessamine Duke, I could believe is a badass because she actually kind of is a badass. I like Jessamine Duke. Problem is, she's kind of a little ugly, but I don't really care about that, you know what I'm saying? If you got character and charisma, I'll put you on the card, but I ain't gonna like make you a megastar, because you're not gonna bring the sex appeal that I need for my show, and that's what I mean by that shit. And even to a certain extent, you could say she made Charlotte a better performer. Not saying that Charlotte is complete dog shit, because she's not. However, a lot of people boost her up to what she actually is. She's okay at best, and even around that time she wasn't great. So Ronda made her better, and vice versa, it made Becky better as a performer and made the main event at least somewhat good. But it was botched at the end because Becky botched it. Becky botched Lynch, botched the ending of a WrestleMania main event, the first women's WrestleMania main event ever. So tells you how good she is, right? And finally, number 5, she was the highest rated female wrestler. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. The highest female champion, at least ratings wise, in WWE history. I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, but Becky Lynch. Oh, Becky Lynch. No. Okay? Not Becky Lynch. Not Sasha Banks. Not Charlotte. Not fucking Tori Wilson. None of them. Excuse me, Ronda Rousey was the highest rated champion in WWE history for the females, ever. You know why? Because she had mainstream appeal. She was a established UFC talent, an established UFC great. She was a UFC Hall of Famer even before she came to WWE. She had the Hall of Fame resume. The undefeated streak is enough to put her in the UFC Hall of Fame. And I guess you could say this is an extra reason she's going to be in the WWE Hall of Fame. No doubt, in my mind. Shit, she couldn't even have to wrestle again, and just because of the impact she had on professional wrestling for any women's division ever, she could just go in right away, and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Of course, she'd have the neck beards and shit be like, "Ooh, she's watching the ring, she hurts people." Okay, we have Nia Jax, don't we? And you guys like to fuck on her, right? But she's nothing compared to Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's a better talent. Has more mainstream appeal. Nobody's gonna like Nia Jax's fat ass. So get the fuck out of here, right? So yeah, that was the video. Excuse me. So I haven't been uploading as much. I've been really busy. Lately, I've been trying to see some family for Thanksgiving. Fucking my job's got me fucking blissed up my dick. So if you guys enjoyed, do all that shit, share the video. Follow me on Twitter if you want to get video updates and polls and shit. And that's it, man. I hope you enjoyed the video. People ruin wrestling here. Peace out.